On a day when the Badgers lose Heisman Trophy finalist from a year ago, Monte Ball, to an apparent concussion, lose the better portion of a big lead, they managed to hold on, beat Texas El Paso here at Camp Randall Stadium. I'm Adam Mertz with Andy Begg of the Wisconsin State Journal. Andy, not many teams could lose a guy like Monte Ball and really kind of pick up right where they left off with James White and Melvin Gordon, both filling in pretty admirably.
Well, coming into the week, you're right about losing a quality back like Monte Ball. Not many teams are able to do that. But coming into the week, it was the plan of Bret Bielema to incorporate more of James White, incorporate more of Melvin Gordon into the game plan. He didn't envision it this way by having Monte Ball go down and miss the second half of the game. But we've heard all since spring ball how good Melvin Gordon is and his big play potential. We've seen James White rush for 1,000 yards in the season, so we know what they could do. They didn't miss a beat. We saw some exciting things from Melvin Gordon. And going forward, if indeed Monte Ball is not able to play in the Big Ten opener against Nebraska, I think Bret Bielema feels comfortable with what he has at tailback with Melvin Gordon and James White. And I think that this team knows that it can rely on what those two guys can bring to the table.
I've been used well. You got to wait your turn. You got some great guys ahead of you. I'm not gonna pout about it, but when an opportunity come like today, I'm gonna still practice hard. Like I said, when an opportunity come like today, you got to take full advantage of it.
Monte had gotten a lot of reps the first three games, and just to go into a Big Ten season, we didn't think he'd be able to do that for the entire season. But also you just watch 25 and 20 practice. They're very, very good players and kind of spread the wealth, get it around a little bit. And it actually will help Monte in the long run just to know that those guys can come off the bench and do some good things.
And overall, just a tough day for Monte. Loses a fumble for the first time in his career, which is just unimaginable. And yet you look at who else is in the backfield there with him. Joel Stavi making his first career start. He seemed to handle things, really smoothly as well there, and obviously benefited from having Jared Abbrederis back in the lineup and opening up the offense a little bit. Your impressions on Joel Stavi in his first start with kind of a lot of different pieces in place here?
Well, first of all, let me say I'm surprised that he got a start this quickly. I thought Danny O'Brien started the season. Given the circumstances, I understand the turnovers, but this quickly, I didn't expect a quick hook like this. Having said that, Joel Stavi has impressed me from start to finish from having seen him with regards to his poise. He's a guy that does not get rattled, and we got that theme after the game about that here's a guy who's a cool customer. I think that's what Chris Borland called him. And he is. And you saw him it took him a little bit to get into the offense. I think Bret Bielema talked after the game about there was a moment this week where it looked like Joel was kind of getting big eyes about what was going on, but outside of an interception that he knows that he threw poorly, that he'd love to have back, I think he played well in his first game, and obviously having a weapon like Jared Abbrederis to throw the ball to certainly opened things up and made Joel's job a lot easier.
Let's hear from some comments from the locker room about Joel Stavi's debut as a starting quarterback.
I thought I played all right. Some good, some bad. I'm going to have to watch the film and just learn from the bad stuff, I guess. Again, there's some things I would like to take back, but all in all, yeah, I felt pretty comfortable.
Joel's going to be a good quarterback. He's got a lot of skills. He's tall. He's athletic. He got a good live arm. He's very smart at the line of scrimmage. He doesn't hide things when he comes over the sideline. He tells you the truth and what he really sees. And as a coach, you can make that better, because if a kid's telling you something that he wants to kind of avoid maybe getting yelled at or getting corrected in the right way, he tells the way it is.
I thought he did a good job, being his first start. Obviously he can improve on some things, but we all, make mistakes and can keep improving. So I was excited, how he played today, and, the sky's the limit for him.
The Badgers wrap up their non-conference portion of the season at 3-1. Certainly didn't have the kind of the fluid play that you might have expected coming into this season, but they head into Nebraska next week. Want to know where you're at in terms of this team. Where do you see them in their development through the non-conference season? Are they ready for a kind of a prime-time game that they're going to have next week against a team that's obviously going to be really motivated to come back at them for that 31-point whipping last year?
I don't think this team is as ready for the Big Ten season as they hope they are at this point in time. We've seen a lot of inconsistency through the preseason or through the non-conference season. We've seen a lot of youth. We've seen a lot of turmoil from whether the coaching staff or primary positions like quarterback. We've seen some personnel changes there. you hear a lot of hope in the voices of the players right now. We're getting, we have a lot of things going. We haven't used a lot of the playbook to this point. I haven't heard somebody come out and definitively say we are ready. Mm-hmm. We feel good about going into the Big Ten. We're looking forward to the Big Ten, but are we ready? I haven't heard that, and I think it's going to be an education for them, just like the first 4 games have been an education for them. Until Wisconsin finds a consistent vein, finds a rhythm, offensively, defensively, special teams, it's going to be an average product based on what we've seen to this point. And if it happens to strike a point where all things are clicking, then it can be a good team. But right now the Badgers are a team that I think is still looking for an identity, looking for a rhythm, and going to Nebraska is not the best place to try and find that.
We hear from Devin Smith, cornerback, about heading up to Lincoln for next week's game.
We know we have a lot of targets on our back based off of the things we did last year, but every single week we just go out to practice to make sure we're improving consistently and making sure that we're erasing the mistakes that we had on tape the previous game, where offensives can potentially capitalize on. And I think it's just a process of making sure that we're working every single day, and I think our team is ready.
Look for coverage all week on madison.com and the State Journal leading into the Badgers' Big Ten opener at Nebraska.